This is ABC15 Mornings.
A major milestone in the fight against COVID-19. How many millions of Arizonans are now vaccinated, and the new hurdle that the state is facing now that everyone is eligible. Plus,
the 100-year-old veteran rolling up her sleeve to help crush COVID-19.
and Arizona is taking a stand to fight hate, how they are raising awareness about the rise in violence against Asian Americans.
We want to say good morning to you. It is now 6 o'clock on your Sunday morning. I'm Megan Thompson. Mark Thompson, it is so good to see you. I know we've been talking all morning long about how beautiful it was yesterday. And I know you were talking about how you're watching March Madness and you had to be forcing yourself to get outside because you know what is coming. You've been listening to me talk for far too long. You know what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we've been saying, get out there and enjoy it now. It was such a beautiful day yesterday. And hopefully, you know, you've still got one more day of the weekend to enjoy and take advantage before we see the temperature kind of shoot up a little bit.
Kind of shoot up a little bit more. Yes, absolutely. Right now, though, it is beautiful. If you did want to get outside, like Mark was mentioning, maybe take advantage of that nice day ahead. 55 degrees in Phoenix, 59 in Mesa, Glendale, 56 for you. Goodyear, you're checking in at 60 degrees with that live look of those bright skies now coming up as the sunrise is making its way up the sun. Now, Valley Planner, here's what we can expect for those temperatures as they continue to climb today. Now, we are going to go a little bit warmer than what we felt yesterday, into those 80s. So by 8 a.m., 59 degrees, 78 degrees by noon, which is just where we were for a high yesterday, right around there. Then by 3 p.m., 86 degrees, which is slightly above average for this time of year. So we are going to climb potentially into the 90s tomorrow. I'll walk you through your 7-day forecast coming up in just minutes, Mark.
All right, Megan, thank you so much. A major milestone for vaccination efforts here in Arizona. More than 2 million people have received at least one dose. Nearly 28% of people are now vaccinated, and 1.2 million Arizonans are fully vaccinated. But as these vaccinations speed up, there is a new hurdle in the state's rollout. And since everyone is now eligible, that has decreased the incentive for people to volunteer, and those volunteer numbers are dropping. It's a problem the state is trying to fix. Now, at any vaccination site, hundreds, if not thousands, of volunteers are needed to help vaccinate Arizonans. Now, it is fulfilling work, and one of the biggest perks is that you get your COVID-19 vaccine as a gift for your time. Rhonda Oliver, she's the director at Hands On Phoenix, the state's biggest vaccination volunteer organization. And since March, Hands On Phoenix has coordinated volunteers at State Farm Stadium, Phoenix Municipal Stadium, and now the Yuma site, just to name a few.
And the state announced that they were opening up the vaccine to the general population. It caused a complete drop-off of volunteer interest in coming out to volunteer at these sites.
And Oliver says even those who had volunteered for days ahead, they are now suddenly backing out since they can get the vaccine without donating their time.
Prior to this week, if we would post, let's say, somewhere around 2,000 to 3,000 volunteer slots, they'd be gone within the hour. This afternoon, we'll have probably 6,000 or 7,000 volunteer slots sitting on our site waiting to be filled. And so we've had some up for days this week, and they're still not filled.
Dr. Kara Chris admitted that there is a problem, and she says that money is being allocated to hire volunteers, or hire workers, that is, if volunteers can't be found. Each mega site needs roughly 1,000 volunteers per day. Oliver says that paid assistance can be provided if Arizonans step up to serve the community. They won't need to issue that money out. Now that the vaccines are available everywhere, though, it is still a problem. So whether you are looking to sign up to volunteer or just trying to find an appointment, you can go to abc15.com/vaccine for all of the information that you need to know regarding the state's vaccine rollout.
Arizonans taking action to fight hate. 2 marches were held across the valley yesterday, raising awareness about the rise in violence against Asian Americans. Our Adam Waltz shows us how they're marching for unity and solidarity while giving the community a voice.
6 Asian Americans killed during a mass shooting in Atlanta, and a local man randomly attacked and killed in Phoenix, making up that vigil.
Hate for Asians has got to stop.
For Asian Americans, racism is nothing new. Jim Shee says his wife was in a Japanese internment camp in the 1940s in Arizona.
She was born in Phoenix, Arizona, but still went along with the Japanese Americans that were interned, 120,000 that were put in concentration camps. This is a follow-up of that.
He says that racism still exists.
I'm disappointed that it's still happening today, and that we had a so-called president that promoted this type of hatred.
In 2020, hate crimes against Asian Americans in the United States rose 150%.
We are here to protect our people.
Arizona Asian Americans are standing up and fighting back.
Hate against the Asian community is as horrific as against anyone else, and we've got to stop it.
We are not alone.
Against those attacks on their own community members, marching against anti-Asian violence in Mesa, beginning at the Mekong Plaza and ending about a half-mile away next to the vigil.
This rally for us means Asians no longer keeping silence.
Elders in the community hope the generations behind them speak up against injustice.
When people talk to us, go back to your country. This is our country.
We will not live in fear. We will not hate, and we shall persevere.
In Mesa, Adam Waltz, ABC 15 Arizona.
Now to the very latest on our southern border. Imagine for migrants making that journey either with a family or even adults themselves. That can be really dangerous, but just imagine a child making that journey alone. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the very latest on the situation at the border.
Tragedy on the U.S.-Mexico border. A 9-year-old girl has died while trying to cross the Rio Grande. The Border Patrol says they found her mother, and 3-year-old brother unconscious on March 20th. Both the woman and boy survived. Over the last month, border officials say they've stopped an average of 5,000 people a day. Officials expecting that number to grow as we get closer to summer.
All the government officials tell us they are doing the best they can, but they're being overwhelmed by sheer numbers.
More than 18,000 unaccompanied minors now in U.S. custody. That number increasing by nearly 1,000 in one day. In El Paso Saturday, a group of lawmakers getting a first-hand look at a facility housing unaccompanied migrant children.
We have to make sure that the facilities that are done by the Health and Human Services are appropriate, that they have the medical care, the wraparound services that they need.
In San Diego, officials toured a new facility for migrant teenage girls.
We were asked by the U.S. federal government to provide a temporary home for young people who need a place to go that is safe and will keep them well cared for while we do the important work of reuniting them with families or sponsors.
This new temporary shelter will be able to house more than 1,400 girls. 500 were expected to arrive Saturday. 250 more are expected Monday. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Andrew, thank you. Workers wanted here in Phoenix. Thrift Books, an independent online used bookseller, is opening a processing center in Phoenix. The company says it will create 150 new jobs from product sorters and machine line workers to management roles. The company is hosting an open house this Tuesday from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. So you can learn more on thriftbooks.com. Do you miss the sandy beaches near the ocean? Soon, you won't have to go far to enjoy some sun, water, and sand. You could just head to Mesa. This week, crews will break ground on Cannon Beach, the 40-acre property near Power Road and Warner. Hopes to bring the ocean to the desert. This includes Revel Surf, a more than 3-acre surf lagoon that will have waves.
So we will literally have pro surfer level waves here, with ESPN coming here to do surf competitions, all the way down to the local Arizona kid who never grew up by the beach and wants to learn how to surf, and we can tone the wave down to just be rollers. They can get their feet wet, proverbially speaking, and before they jump into the deep end.
How cool is that? Revel Surf could be open in about a year for those next summer plans, hopefully, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Turning to the vaccination efforts, a special story here. Among the 2 million Arizonans who are now vaccinated is a 100-year-old veteran who served in World War II. Can you imagine? And that is just part of retired Major Fanny Griffin McClendon's story. She enlisted in the Army at 19 years old and was an officer in the only all-black Women's Army Corps unit, the 6888 Postal Battalion. She was sent to Europe during World War II and then later joined the Air Force. During her 26 years in the military, she says that she did face some racism and sexism. Then after serving honorably, she opened an antique store in Mesa in 1971. Yesterday, she was vaccinated at the VA clinic in Gilbert.
I didn't even feel it. I'm surprised. I want to take that lady with me when I go to the hospital. Wow.
She said that shot was painless. Well, after her shot, she was presented with a Living Legend Award by the Department of Veterans Services. And wow, what a special lady. She has certainly seen it all. 2 pandemics, in fact.
Mark, 2 pandemics. I didn't even think about that. And as you listen to her resume, everything that she's listing off, I think about myself at 19 years old. She was so selfless then, continued to be selfless for the rest of her life, and is so excited to get that shot because you know what? She's a whole lot more life to live, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, well, still ahead here on ABC 15 Mornings, encouraging people in minority communities to roll up their sleeve. The new initiative to clear up misinformation surrounding the COVID vaccine. And should you get life insurance? Still ahead, the Let Joe Know team breaks down all those different policies.
Thanks for watching ABC 15 Arizona, streaming 24/7 on Roku and these streaming devices.
6:15 coming up on your Sunday morning, and check out this photo from the Tonto National Forest. This was sent in by our viewer Anne Marie Combs. We just love seeing the photos from where you are, so keep them coming in, Megan.
Mark, that is an absolutely stunning photo. Really, anywhere in Arizona, we know you can snap an absolutely gorgeous photo. And like Mark mentioned, send them to us. We want to see them. It's at share@abc15.com. That's the best way to do so. As we take a look at your temperatures outside here in the valley, we're starting off really nice today in the 40s and 50s. Here's where it's at all across the valley, like 47 in Santan Valley and Queen Creek, 46 for you in Gilbert, 48 in Chandler. We're in the 50s there to the north near Fountain Hills, Cave Creek. Anthem checking in at 60 degrees right now, 53 in Glendale, 54 in Peoria, and 48 degrees in Goodyear. If you're going to head out for a run today, here's what you can expect over the next few hours. So by 7 a.m., we'll still be in the 50s. That sun will be shining. By 10 a.m., we will get into the 70s. Then by 2 p.m., 82 degrees. So we'll warm up pretty quickly into the early afternoon hours. We're even tracking your valley pool forecast for the first time this year, at least for me, 86 degrees. The high today, the UV index is also high. It's at a 7. That means your burn time is roughly 25 minutes. So if you're going to be out splashing around in the pool or maybe just spending some time outdoors, you want to make sure you are reapplying that sunscreen, getting some shade whenever you can, as that forecast is going to continue to get warmer. So here's the temperature trend we've been tracking. The 60s on Friday with that storm system. Then we got into the upper 70s yesterday. As we looked at today, 80s, 86 degrees, then 90 degrees by Monday. This could be our first 90-degree day. And this is actually right on average for when we should see that first 90-degree day. It's usually around March 31st, so we're just about 2 days off if we were to hit it tomorrow. Now, the earliest 90-degree day was February 17th back in 2016. So here's why we're going to warm up. We have a ridge of high pressure that's going to be raising our temperatures. You do get a little bit of relief into midweek because we will get a disturbance disturbance to the north. That's going to drop the temperatures ever so slightly, and then we'll warm up really quickly after that. 64 the high today in Heber, 61 in Flagstaff, 68 degrees in Prescott, 74 in Globe, and 87 degrees in Quartzsite. So here's that 7-day forecast. We may see that first 90-degree day tomorrow, so enjoy those outdoors while you can. Then Tuesday, our temperatures drop off with that disturbance to the north I was just mentioning, 86, but we will climb 89 degrees on Wednesday, 93 by Thursday, 94 by Friday and Saturday.
Life insurance, it is not a topic that a lot of us want to talk about, but with the coronavirus pandemic claiming so many lives, it turns out that more people are purchasing policies. Our Let Joe Know team now with who should get it and if the investment is worth it.
It's best to think of life insurance as just, taking care of the people that you love.
Ben Moore is an insurance expert with NerdWallet.com. He says a quarter of Americans who purchased a life insurance policy in the past year did so because of COVID-19.
Millennials were more likely to purchase because of COVID than older generations.
But he says not everyone needs to invest in a policy.
If you have a spouse who can need to continue paying mortgage payments, if you have children who are in college and they need to pay college tuition.
The two most common policies, term life and permanent life insurance. He says term policies will be the cheapest option. They cover a person for a set amount of time, for example, 20 or 30 years. After that, they're not going to pay out.
People usually use it to cover things like a mortgage that does have an end. There's an end to the mortgage payments.
Permanent policies will cover someone for the remainder of their life. They'll cost more, but they build cash value and you can use it while the insured person is still alive. In both cases, age and medical history influence what you pay and if you qualify. He says there is a third option, which is easier for people to get.
It's basically just to cover funeral expenses.
While policies can offer peace of mind, not every policy covers a COVID-19 related loss. Moore says there are three main exceptions. First, if your application is inaccurate or incomplete, if you didn't disclose travel plans or lied about your weight or income. He says applications are scrutinized more closely if that person passes within the first 2 years. Second, you missed a premium payment. Most companies have a 30-day grace period. And third, you purchased an accidental death policy. COVID-19 is not considered an accident by most companies.
It's kind of up in the air how insurers will approach COVID over the next few years.
Moore says some insurance companies are slowing down the application process because of a lack of long-term research on COVID-19. He also says if you had the virus, it could play a part in whether or not you qualify for the insurance. For more tools to compare policies, visit abc15.com/letjoeknow. I'm investigator Joe Ducey. If you got a problem, let me know.
Joe, thank you. This morning, recovery efforts are underway after nearly 24 tornadoes hit the south. A sign of hope that's been recovered in the wreckage. And help raise money for foster kids in Arizona. All new this morning for you, the virtual auction happening now where your bids benefit the community. Raising money to help raise Arizona's foster children. It is essential work. And the Arizona Children's Association is having to get a little creative to be able to continue fundraising amid this pandemic. So they are launching their first ever virtual auction where you can bid on items and experiences that in turn benefit the nonprofit. So joining us to talk about it is Barbara Cresco. She is the Chief Development Officer with the Arizona Children's Association. Barbara, good morning to you. Can you tell us a little bit about the event and what people can bid on?
Absolutely. First of all, Megan, thank you so much for having us today. Browse Bid Buy is Arizona's Children's Association's first ever virtual auction. And it came out of the pandemic because our inability to have in-person events, we had to get really creative and find new ways to engage the community and also raise funds for our important mission. So it allows people, as you said, to bid on fun items and experiences from the safety and comfort of their own homes, all while supporting ASCA. The auction will take place over a 24-hour period, so people have plenty of time to go and browse and bid on what they want. And it starts at 6 a.m. on April 10th and closes at 6 p.m. on April 11th. And funds raised will support the agency's programs and services across the state, our critical behavioral health and child welfare programs.
And Barbara, people can actually donate to this as well.
Well, we love to get the local businesses involved across the state because I think it's a great way for them to kind of come out of the pandemic and get their services out there. We still have sponsorships available, and they start at the $1,000 level, and auction items are still needed. Gift cards, unique experiences, themed baskets are all great auction items. They can visit our auction website at arizonaschildren.org/bid, or they can email us at info@arizonaschildren.org, or call me at 602-234-3733, and my extension is 2305. I'm happy to speak with them and help them in any way they want to get involved.
If someone has never heard of the Arizona Children's Association, can you explain what you guys do and how this auction will in turn benefit those foster children?
Absolutely. Arizona's Children's Association is one of the oldest and largest statewide comprehensive child welfare and behavioral health not-for-profits in Arizona. We're located in all 15 Arizona counties, and we provide a variety of programs and services to meet the needs of more than 40,000 children and families every year. We have our child welfare, behavioral health, and prevention services include foster care and adoption services, behavioral health and trauma and crisis response, kinship support services that help, relatives raising their relative children, family education and support services, young adult services, which is a very important program for us for those kids that are aging out of foster care across the state. We have family preservation and reunification so that if at all possible, we help the families reunite. And we have our nurse sequential model of therapeutics and other specialty services that really serve a wide range of children and family needs.
And Barbara, for our viewers again, can you give the details of when they can log on and start bidding on some of these items?
They can log on right now. They can go register as a bidder, and they can browse all of the items for, until our auction begins at 6 a.m. on April 10th. That's when the bidding will open, and it will go until 6 p.m. on April 11th. And if they sign up as bidders, they'll get notifications that tell them if they've been outbid, so they can go and bid again. And we're adding items every day. So I encourage people to go check the site regularly, browse the items. As I said, we have so many businesses getting involved across the state, and we have new items every day.
Perfect. Barbara, thank you so much for joining us from the Arizona Children's Association to talk about this exciting new event. We'll be sure to put all that information for you to register for the auction in this story on ABC15.com.
Great. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right, 6:26 now, still ahead, an update on the two separate shootings in Virginia Beach and what we know about the people who lost their lives. Also, baseball season is here, when you can watch the Diamondbacks' first game of the season. All of that information coming up.